Who were interested in the environment. For example, Carl von Carlowitz realized that you shouldn't cut down more trees than will grow again to replace them. So he had recognized the basic principle of sustainability. Nowadays, sustainability is seen as a global concept. This can be explained with the help of the three-pillar model. The model is based on environmental, economic, and social considerations, which must always be regarded as belonging together. First, the environmental pillar. It includes, among other things, climate protection, which is widespread, protection of resources, and biodiversity. Also, food should be grown organically. That is, we should stop using pesticides, and farm animals should be given fodder produced on the farm. We must use natural resources more sparingly too. One of them is petrol, which we need for our cars, but sooner or later this resource will be exhausted, so there'll be no fuel for the cars. This is why we're looking very hard for an environmentally friendly alternative, so that future generations will have environmentally friendly cars. Electric ones, for example. The next pillar is the economy, that is, business and industry. In future, at the supermarket, Peter should only find produce that's in season in his region, like strawberries in summer. Mangoes from Brazil or bananas from Colombia and Ecuador arrive by air from a very long way away. Transporting them causes a lot of pollution. The third pillar of sustainability is the social element. Goals here include, for example, better education and training opportunities, equal rights for men and women, fighting poverty, and prosperity for the whole of humanity. One beverage manufacturer from an industrialized country has quite a bit of catching up to do here. It repeatedly takes over the wells of villages in India because it needs the water to make its products there. Sustainable. Peter doesn't think so either. After all, at least a little water should be left in the wells for the Indian population. So Peter tries to do justice to the three-pillar model. When he buys organically grown produce, when he goes to work on his bike, and by using green power from wind turbines, he really does live sustainably. But be careful. A lot of companies exploit consumers' environmental awareness. Not all the products that claim to be from fair trade or organic farming are sustainable. It's up to consumers to be well informed about the products they're consuming.
Okay, some of that was, of course, a little slanted towards the European model, but that's okay. I think the points that are being made there, that's the same three-pillar model that the Scouts use in the Sustainability Merit Badge book. And it's very difficult to see how you could make the world sustainable if you're going to have people starving to death in Bangladesh and trying to fight their way out of the starving. And, you know, almost all wars happen really not so much because of economics and not so much because of religion. They happen because of the desperation people have for what they don't have. So it's that social part is really going to be tricky, super tricky, and hopefully we'll be able to, as a world, be able to figure out how to make things more equitable. And as far as the climate goes, I think kind of we're seeing a little bit of what's could go wrong right now. I'm not 100% sure personally. I know that Gavin Newsom is thinking that everything we're seeing in California, we're going to be seeing across the rest of the country in I think a decade or two is what he said. Not sure about that, but boy, I'll tell you what, you look at the number of hurricanes that have been roaring up out of the Atlantic this year and all the fires. You know, the West has been in a 20-year drought. And maybe that's something which is common over the course of the eons, but it doesn't feel very common to the folks in California. That's for sure. And part of the sustainability, I think that we've totally mismanaged our forests. And I mean, I like big, beautiful climax forests with big trees and all that kind of stuff myself personally. But, you know, before we started, quote unquote, managing them, there was a lot of wildfires and there was a lot of turnover. So you had forests at different stages of growth. And what we've done in California for the most part is we've let it go straight to the climax phase. And it's just what you're seeing is just a devastating, it's just devastating to the whole country because it's not just California. It's those fires in the West are now in, of course, Seattle area in Washington, Oregon, it's in Utah, it's actually in New Mexico again, Idaho, Nevada. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, which is really kind of hard. As far as industry goes, that's something that I think what that video was making was a really good point, that we as consumers have a lot of choice. And a lot of that choice is, I think, it can be economically driven, but it certainly can be sustainability driven. We're not forced to only choose one thing. Like, for instance, I'm frankly much more interested after what's been going on in the last couple of years. I'm much more interested in buying stuff from the United States rather than importing it from China for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't think the security of the supply is there. And second of all, I think that we can make stuff more sustainably here. I think we have stronger environmental regulations. We have better air quality and water quality politics. It's pretty much baked into our society now. So I just think we can do a better job doing it sustainably here. One of the things they did is they used to take almost all the recycle from the world. China did, yeah. And now we're building recycling plants, and so we're capturing as we should. So sustainability in that sense means keep it in your own house. And as you probably also know, as far as the plastic goes, there are, and somebody looked this up last time, it was 2 weeks ago, so I can't remember, but the amount of plastic floating in one single layer in parts of the ocean was the size of a country. And so we have a long way to go. And I don't think our world is quite as robust as maybe we'd like it to be. At least we're not seeing that. So anyway, that's kind of sustainability. Those three pillars of it. The industrial pillar, we can as consumers make a big difference there. We can buy things that are more sustainably grown. And I think some of what Peter was saying was a little bit, I can't imagine, it's hard for me to imagine not being able to buy fruit out of season anymore. I mean, our stores, we have wonderful produce, wonderful fruit. We have excellent choices. I find that hard to imagine it's going to go away, but it might change. It might be that they, instead of being flown over in airplanes, they might have to come over in boats. Boats are infinitely more sustainable than planes are. So I don't know. That's what kind of things that we'll all have to kind of figure out together, because it's going to happen, I'm afraid, pretty quick for us.
When we were in Germany, we did not have the same choice of fresh fruits and vegetables. We had potatoes pretty much all year round, but other things not so. Everything was seasonal. When the corn came in, you had corn. When the green beans came in, you had green beans. Other than that, you didn't. I mean, you had the canned ones, but you didn't have fresh ones. Not like we do here, where we get strawberries from Chile 12 months of the year.
Yeah, and I like strawberries. Okay, like them a lot. But yeah, and they're talking a little bit about agriculture there, which I do want to say something about, because I've worked for a chemical company, as you know, and Monsanto is I had considered it. I'm not so sure I do so anymore because they got sold to somebody else. But Monsanto, when they developed that Roundup, what they did is they went ahead and they gene spliced in, this is that genetically modified organisms. They modified in genetically into the plants the seeds that they were selling around the world, basically a shelf life. Now, yes, it was indeed impervious to Roundup, no question about it, but they also put a 2-year lifespan on it. So you have to buy new seeds from them every other year in order to use that Roundup Ready stuff. And what they found is when they put so much herbicide on the fields, they were just destroying the local ecosystems. And I don't know if you know this or not now, but it's very hard to find anything that's any sustainable farming practices that use that amount of herbicide. Also, the problem with sustainable farming has to do with the amount of fertilizer we use. It's fertilizer, the way we use it in farming, I'm speaking of this because I know about the farming and the agricultural part, the stuff we use there is all manufactured pretty much. So it's taking a lot of ammonia, it's taking a lot of natural gas for combining things, and it's just really, it's hard on the land. We demand so much production out of the land that, for instance, in Iowa, the average size of the fields since the beginning of the early 20th century up until now have dropped well over 10 feet. We've lost that much of our good topsoil. And what?
And water.
And water. Yeah, and groundwater too, yeah.
Because that causes the land to sink.
Mm-hmm. And we had the Dust Bowl, and the Dust Bowl came because we were overproducing. And so these things aren't sustainable. And that's another thing we saw when we lived in Europe. We saw places in France and Germany and Italy, all around where they'd been growing their crops on that same land for thousands of years. And, that land sustained it very nicely. It was beautiful fields, beautiful produce coming out of it, but it was all sustainable basically. And it might have changed since we left because Europe got a lot richer after we left. When we were there, it was not nearly as roaring of an economy as it is now. But you could just see it. You could just see how much more sustainable it was. And also one of the things they did, which won't happen here, but it did happen there, and it wasn't for this reason. It was because of the 100-Year War. But it turned out that basically all their towns kind of got squished together. Well, in other words, if they had a village, the village would become more compressed because they had to build walls around it in order to keep people from invading. And so they ended up having these delightful, dense towns and cities. And the reason I'm saying delightful, because they were beautiful. And there was plenty of opportunities outside the walls. We had it. One of the things that was really, really strange to us when we were living in Germany is if we'd had that population in the United States living in that pretty of an area with that much water and that much open space, it all would have been carved up into 10-acre ranchettes, and there would have been nothing. And so there's a lot of stuff we have to do with sustainability. We grow almost all of our big cities on the best farmland in this country. Yeah, I don't want to sound like a downer because I think a lot of the stuff we do in the United States is absolutely cutting edge. We've done wonderful stuff in terms of our environmental regulations. I remember when I was a kid, the Cuyahoga River outside of Cleveland, it burnt. The river caught on fire. There's that much stuff being dumped into it. And that same river now is a national park. So, there's some wonderful things that we have done with our environmental protections. And so I don't want to give you the wrong idea there. But sustainability is going to be something that we're going to have to, as a species, work with for a long time. Okay, so there's that. We have another one that we wanted to show you is on water, because water is really pretty super important. Is that the one right here? No, it's under the last one. Okay. So, oh yeah, here we go. Nope, that's not it, is it? I hope it is. We'll find out. Let's see. It was under, doggone it, we just had it. Wasn't that one? Let's see if we can find it this way. Give about 5 minutes, right? You see it?
No. Well,
No, no, because it was about, let's see. Okay. Well, let's see what this one here does. As I look for the other one.
Each of us has a purpose. We are destined to do something meaningful. What do you think a private Christian education looks like? GCU offers over.
Oops, let's see. Keep going, keep going.
175 high-quality online programs. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
Okay. No, I think it's that one. Oh, that's still Grand Canyon, man. Maybe that's going to be nothing but, oh, there we go. Nope. Oh,
you have to right before dinner.
well, I know we watched it right before dinner. That's the thing.
Are you trying to look for the name of that video?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually wrote it down for my notes for Aaron. It's called Water, Our Most Precious Resource.
You the one I just found?
Water. It's one of
The
our
one that
most
you had pulled up before.
Our
That's it.
Thank you.
supplies are
Found it.
limited.
Awesome.
97.5% of the Earth's water is salty, and only 2.5% is fresh water. But over 2/3 of this fresh water is locked in the polar ice caps and glaciers. This leaves only 0.5% in our lakes, rivers and groundwater for agricultural, industrial and personal use. But due to pollution, the quality of this water is under threat. According to the World Health Organization, only 0.007% of the world's total water supply is safe for consumption. And this minuscule amount needs to be shared by the more than 7 billion people on the planet. And this water is not distributed evenly throughout the world. 1.2 billion people live in areas of water scarcity in places such as southwestern United States, India, Spain, North Africa, Australia, and northern China. At the same time, demand for water is intensifying. Over the last 100 years, global population has tripled and water consumption has increased sixfold. But our total water supply has remained unchanged. More people are now using a lot more of the same limited amount of water. What has driven this exponential increase in water consumption? A growing middle class in the emerging markets has been one key contributor. As disposable incomes rise, eating habits change, and people tend to eat more meat. It takes 1,300 liters of water to produce 1 kilo of wheat, and 3,400 liters for 1 kilo of rice. But 15,500 liters of water are required to produce 1 kilo of beef. And with continued population growth and prosperity, meat consumption is expected to double by 2050. At this rate, by 2030, total demand for water will exceed the available global supply by 40%. But what can be done to address our water challenges? Innovative companies are developing solutions that can help alleviate water scarcity, enhance the quality of water, and enable the more efficient use of this precious resource. For example, agriculture accounts for 70% of total water consumption, depleting groundwater resources in some regions. By adopting technologies such as micro-drip irrigation, farmers can significantly reduce the amount of water used to grow their crops by up to 70 to 80%. Urbanization and industrialization are also putting pressure on our freshwater resources. Industrial activity accounts for about 20% of global water consumption. Everything from our clothing and electronic gadgets to electricity generation requires vast amounts of water. And in the process, industrial wastewater is discharged into waterways, polluting our water. Industrial water recycling technologies such as advanced filtration and zero-discharge closed-loop water recycling systems can help alleviate some of the strain on our water supply while limiting water pollution. At the same time, as more people in developing countries move to cities, entire water distribution networks, sanitation systems, and wastewater treatment facilities need to be installed, generating demand for pipes, engineering, and construction.
While in developed countries, an aging infrastructure desperately needs upgrading. Up to 30% of water in cities in developed countries is lost to leaks. But metering systems and advanced sensors can help utilities pinpoint leaks and fix them without digging up entire city blocks. But there are other ways to increase the available freshwater supply. Some countries in water-scarce coastal regions, such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Spain, are turning to desalination to meet their growing demand for water. For example, Singapore plans to increase its desalination capacity to meet up to 30% of its total water needs by 2060. Companies that provide desalination technologies can help make this possible. Robeco Sam invests in these and many other solution providers for the global water challenge. But investing in water solutions is more than just providing people with access to water. It's also about capitalizing on long-term growth opportunities and enhancing portfolio returns. The water industry is expected to grow from about $500 billion today to $1 trillion by 2020. Robeco Sam Sustainable Water, mobilizing capital to enable the sustainable use of our water resources.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Well, a little commercial there at the end, but guess what? If we don't address it through economics driving what we're trying to do, it's going to be really difficult, at least in my opinion, to be able to see a way of getting through this.
Water.
Okay, another one. I need to get out of that just totally. I know what I'll do. Let me just, and then, and then stop sharing. Haha, who's still here? Ah, we lost Lindsay. Yes, Lindsay's still there.
Yeah, I'm still
Did
here.
that put you to sleep?
Just a little bit.
Did it scare you a little bit?
Yeah. I got so scared I fell asleep.
Oh. That works.
Scares me too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's just an amazing thing. So just kind of moving around. So what did you think about that, Lindsay, as you're drinking your water?
I thought it was pretty informative. I mean, again, what you were touching on is that I think economic opportunity is going to be what's driving most of the change in, like, I don't know, how we get our water, I guess, and how we use it.
Well, one of the things I think you're going to find, Lindsay, is that the cost of good, fresh, clean water is going to really increase in price, okay? Because that's what's going to maybe have to happen if there's going to be people making real changes to it. And we're seeing this in Corpus Christi. You don't see it necessarily, but you know what we're seeing in Corpus is they're going to build a desalination plant. Well, that water is going to be more expensive than the surface water we have currently, which means that after that plant gets built, the citizens of Corpus Christi and Nueces County, but not Portland, by the way, are going to be paying extra for their water.
Portland, maybe.
Portland, maybe. It's hard to say if they are or not. But, you know, I think that what they're looking at is trying to get a foothold into that to understand what's going on. And again, along that line, the Ogallala Aquifer, which goes all the way from the Dakotas, all the way down into West Texas, that water is being used so fast that they've already sucked out over 200 feet of the aquifer. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So what do you think, Liebert?
You're muted.
Are they muted?
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, us?
I think the solution, I mean, the problem and the solution is going to be economically driven, and with the need will come the solutions. But as you said, it's going to come at a cost.
Oh yeah, they're going to pay for it.
But it's doable. We've got the minds. We're going to have the need, and I think that it'll come around.
Yeah, I just think that when things get more expensive, It's like what they're saying. If 30% of the water in a city is lost through leaks, and I believe that in Corpus. I really do.
Just 30?
Yeah, exactly. Just 30. You know, just think about it. If you could save that 30% right there, how much of a difference that would make. And I think the other part you're seeing from that is right now when they find a leak, they have to dig up the road to get down to the pipe to fix it. So that's a great economic opportunity to be able to do these in situ repairs without digging stuff up and having more of a cost. So yeah, I think there's just so much economics and money that's going to be built into that. I think it's just going to be very, very interesting and lucrative and a very good place to work, you know, because, you know, companies themselves typically aren't cruel and wicked and evil. Yeah, they're profit driven, but they're people, okay? And people like to do stuff that brings value to the common good. And so working on water solutions, working on improving farming practices to use less water, those are all good things and very exciting for young people to work on. Like you, Lindsay. Yeah, here's a thumb up. Okay. Well, I think that I've actually recorded this, but I see that Ian came on, so I think I might stop the recording and you can get his numbers, Lee.
I don't see him. Is he?
He's there.
Ian's there. Ian's finished?
Ian's done.
He's finished his.
Okay, then he's fine. Okay, so anyway, I think that hopefully what we just did is going to set up the discussion on the families with the water and how to save water. And I think it always helps to have a little bit of facts behind the discussion. And I think that at this point then, we're supposed to be talking to the families. We're supposed to be finding out what sustainability means to the families. And the other thing is we're supposed to put together a plan within the families for saving water. And then we're supposed to say, okay, family, let's execute it. And we're supposed to look at our water bill and see if we can see any difference. Okay, that's the water part of this. Then we'll move into the food and the other parts.
Does that mean no showers?
Check it out.
Check what out?
I said, does that mean they don't have to take showers anymore?
Jeez.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grandkids are all for that.
No, please, showers, more showers.
Showers. 15,
Hose them off in the water hose.
There you go.
15
Take them
seconds
to the beach.
soap up and 15 seconds to rinse off.
That's a Navy shower. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm basically done unless somebody wants to talk about stuff. So next week, we're going to meet at the Scout Hut. Can I go on a little bit? You're going to
Oh
send.
yes, that's what I was going to tell you to mention those things.
Okay,
yeah.
and then also we need to get some noise from our colleagues about Philmont because that's coming right up. We need to send them a check before the 1st of October. So we're going to meet next week. We're going to be talking about Philmont. We need to get at least a reasonable commitment, and we're going to need to find out who's going to go on the camping trip. And see what else was there. Hello, Ian.
Well, I think that's it. I'm going to send out the text message about that, and also I will have those links this week about the classes that we've already done here on Zoom, so that you can delete them here, and then they'll be on a private channel on YouTube that is not accessible except for the link by anybody, other than the link.
Okay, and that's how we're going to maintain confidentiality for our scouts.
Yeah, no one can see it. No one can even go to it. There wouldn't even be any interest on it, other than us, So.
And even that's kind of questionable.
Yeah. True.
Okay. Well, y'all, we'll talk to you later then. Any other questions?
Something I wanted to ask you, Mr. O.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe Leanna and Corey. Would you guys be all right if I used you as references for my reapplication to Philmont next year?
Well, of course.
Yes, ma'am. For sure.
You should
Yes.
get an automatic
Absolutely.
pass on that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I didn't want you guys to get an email from them and just be confused about it.
Nope, nope. Go for it.
Okay, also, Mr. L, did you still have that letter of recommendation from last year?
Probably. I'm sure I do. I save all that stuff.
Okay,
You want me to change the date?
yeah.
Ginger age too.
Yeah, change the date. Did I send that to you or did I send it to Philmont?
Oh, you just sent it to Philmont directly.
Okay.
But you got the job.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any other questions or comments? All righty. So when we start doing some of the sustainability stuff in the Scout Hut, we'll record it for you, Lindsay, so you've got it. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, then we'll see y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Wait, I do have a question real quick before y'all leave. So when we do at the Scout Hut, anything we do, we can just have, zoom it in and then Lindsay can join us that way. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if
Scout Hut doesn't have Wi-Fi.
yeah, no Wi-Fi there. I don't know how good
I do on my phone. I do on my phone. I can.
I don't know
I
how
can.
good mine is. That's the thing is if it works, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
If
it
it
definitely
doesn't work-
should, because
if it doesn't
that's
work-
how I'm here with you now, is just through Wi-Fi with my phone.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll work. If it does, that'd
Yeah.
be fantastic. Otherwise, I'll just record it and you can post it on the YouTube channel.
And Leanna is the expert.
Yes, you are the expertess on
I
all.
don't know about that. I think Dale. We nominate Dale. He's not.
Dale is trying to get back onto a sleeping schedule in case they ever call him back for work.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I don't know if he would be going to the Scout Hut, honestly.
Well, not if he's working, of course not.
Well, no. I'm saying even if he wasn't, he probably would not be going face to face at the Scout Hut.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Understand.
And so, like, if you do this over Zoom, we would be interested in doing that over Zoom.
Okay. Sounds good.
If yeah.
All righty then. Any other comments?
Bye, guys.
Oh, one more thing. Happy birthday, Charlotte.
Thank you, lady.
Happy birthday. Okay, bye-bye,
1
everybody.
year younger again this year.
Yeah, boy, 1 year younger.
That's easy when you're around him.
It sure is. Bye, y'all.